Check, mic check, 1, 2.
Yo, is this thing on or what?
What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Platform Podcast. As always, I am your host, Dex. If you are watching on YouTube, make sure to go hit that subscribe button. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, give us a follow, leave us that 5-star review, all that kind of good stuff to get the algorithm going. We got to give a big shout out to Make It Now Media, our brand partner for the show. So whether you're needing graphics, logos, EPKs, any kind of stuff like that, Make It Now Media's got you covered. Hit up their website, click the link in the post here, and they will get you all set up with a little discount if you use the code PLATFORM. Now, today on the show, I've got an awesome guest from right here in Nashville, from Alabama originally, been out here killing it, putting out edits, originals, remixes, all that kind of stuff. Making a name for himself here in Nashville. I got Ryan Lee, a.k.a. Zewmob, on the couch. What's going on, man?
Hey, man. How you doing? I appreciate you having me here today.
I'm happy to have you on, man. It's been a while. I don't get to see you out as much as I probably should or would like to. So I know we've had this in the works for a little bit because I still see what you're doing, and I just saw the recap of last couple of years of the things that you did, and I was like, all right, we got to lock this in. I got to get him on here. We got to talk about some things because you've had a lot going on, from playing festivals, playing tours, playing all the stuff that you do here locally, and then putting out a lot of original stuff that's getting some good reaction from a lot of people, and then the edits and remixes that you're always working on too. So we got a lot to talk about, man.
Yeah, man. Excited.
Yeah.
Excited for it.
But before we get into it, I mean, let these viewers know a little bit about you, who you are, and let's get into it, man.
Yeah, man. I'm Ryan. I go by Zewmob. I'm originally from Gulf Shores in the area down by the beach. I went to school at University of Alabama where I picked up DJing.
Roll Tide.
Started my career there, Roll Tide. But, I have a big family in Auburn right now. So actually, I travel to Auburn quite a bit too. So
Are you an Auburn fan?
I mean, they show me a lot of love these days. So, not picking sides, but I definitely love my Auburn fam as well.
Yeah.
Even though I had roots that started out in Tuscaloosa. From there, I was a music producer, or I guess a beat maker, throughout pretty much my entire childhood, just as a hobby. And then as I started gaining interest in dance music, started turning it into that direction, learning Ableton, all the things that come with it. And from there, sort of grew around the Southeast into the neighboring universities like Mississippi State, other cities like Birmingham, recently up in Huntsville, Auburn, and then, still around below that where, Gulf Shores, Pensacola, some in New Orleans as well.
Yeah.
About 2 years ago, made the move up here to Nashville to, step up things, take it to the next level. And I've got to say, I've made an awesome home here, and I couldn't be more thankful for the people who have helped me, make it my home.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, it's a move that I made a couple years ago, and it's been working out very, very well. There's still a lot that I want to work on and want to get into, but like you said, man, I feel like there's so many people here that are just like willing to help in whatever it's going to be, whether it's DJing, music production, writing, any kind of stuff. Like I feel like people are a lot more open and receptive to other people and just down to help, as opposed to in a lot of other cities where there are a lot of people that are just gatekeepers and they're like worried about either you passing them or whatever it's going to be, where it's just maybe that country music vibe of just all these people collaborating with each other so much, and it works here very well.
I think a big of it is that again, Nashville, as it's getting saturated, it's not hitting those saturation ceilings like some of the bigger other cities are. So there's still so much room for growth. So at the moment, there's not so much cutthroat competition and more collaboration. But as things get to that, bubble bursting, who knows what it could turn into?
Yeah, could get to there. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, hopefully not. So, yeah, I mean, let's get started right away. Lagunas Festival, man, in Pensacola, something that you helped start and got going here a couple years ago now. Tell me about it, man. Tell me what your role is and just how that festival's been going and everything that you got going on with it.
Yeah, absolutely. So Lagunas was sort of a 3 partnership situation with the venue, Lagunas Beach Bar and Grill, the current promoter for the venue, Spencer Bagley with Florida Entertainment, and Future Astronaut Co. Future Astronaut Co. is sort of the crew that I sort of grew up with since 2017, throwing shows, doing promotions, and recently are growing into stage production as well. So we're really hitting every type of faucet with it. Our team is very expansive, so everybody has found a hat to wear, and some of them wear a couple different hats. And so through that, we've just created a family partnerships and have grown it. The festival was put into our lap based on the success of the regular one-off event series that we started doing at Laguna's Beach Bar and Grill about 2 years ago when we started there. And, through it was an awesome opportunity to roll the dice with a big budget and, bring in some like high caliber artists and really do things at a high level.
Yeah.
It was an amazing experience, and, we had a great time doing it. Very stressful at times. We learned about all the like incredibly frustrating and hard things, like making music, putting on a music festival is an incredibly difficult task when it comes to managing like even something like the lineup. Like every single artist has management that is fighting for them to be over certain people at certain times, and like it is like solving 4 Rubik's cubes at the same time to try to make everything fit and within the deadline to get announcements out at a proper tempo. It's
so
just,
you can get everything promoted, do all that kind of stuff too. Yeah.
And then sometimes you have deadlines when you want to make artists or like lineup releases, but you have one artist
who hasn't
approved it yet.
Yeah.
And they're waiting and holding out on you, so you're missing your things. And so other than that too, it's just scheduling all the different departments, whether it's security, waste management,
What about all like the tech stuff? Like stuff like that. You guys are doing LED walls, stuff like that.
Yeah. So Future Astronaut handled the bulk of that within the production world.
Yeah.
And like I said, wearing multiple hats, we have Future Astronaut running all the production, and as well as doing some booking as well, and also facilitating different roles within, like I said, just booking the fencing to go around the festival, all those different things, which Future Astronaut headed up by Bailey Culbertson. So I got to make sure to credit Bailey because he was a trooper throughout the whole thing. So
is that something that you guys were already like into, or you just kind of taught yourself over the last couple of years of just like how to work in all that stuff?
It's growing into it, and different individuals in the group have also gone out on themselves to work with different major festivals. I worked side operations with Firefly Music Fest for like 6 years straight. So I had a little bit of experience, bringing that to the table. And so, Spencer, where he and Bailey, we did several years of trial and error doing talent booking.
Yep.
And so it's just taking all those years of experience and, getting to a point where, you're like, okay, we have done all these things individually. Let's try to put them all together on a bigger scale with a bigger budget, and then experimentation.
Yeah. So they have all their regular stuff there. How often are you putting on like actual festivals there?
So that was our first festival, and like it's still to be determined if we're going to do another year.
Yeah.
Margins for festivals are razor thin to non-existent.
Yeah. And
if you don't really have a big 5-year plan, which includes 3 years of losing
money,
lots of money,
yeah.
then you have to have sort of partners and investors who understand a very long-term situation. And so sometimes it doesn't work like that. The person who's the person gifting the money to put this on is more of an immediate gratitude,
return,
and so if they say, okay, well, this didn't do as well as I performed, we're going to pull it. But so it's just redistributing where our energy goes. We have found a lot of success with the one-off events, selling out most of them. And so it's investing in those areas. So figuring out, like, spreading it out, figuring out what works, what doesn't, reinvesting into the things that are working well.
As opposed to doing like a 2-day festival like you guys did.
Yeah, and because exactly. The amount of energy that goes into it for the output that came out of it was, it was just a lot to put in to not be very forgiving at the end of the day as far as when we do the one-off events. We've got those down to like well-oiled machines with the marketing campaigns, the ad budgets, everything, and they go successfully for us. So it's redistributing energy into those areas.
I love it. Yeah. What do you guys got lined up as far as like some of these one-offs? Who you guys got people lined up that you can announce of next big guests that you're bringing through or no?
Yeah. So our next one is Valentine's Day. We have Troy Boy.
Okay.
So that's been a huge bucket lister for the team.
Yeah.
We all grew up in like the trap era in the 2014 to 16. And so Troy Boy is one of those ones we're super excited about. We have YDG, who's been making a huge trajectory in the bass music world.
Yeah.
John Summit's been playing out. Did a remix for John Summit.
Okay.
He's making a name for himself in the bass music world. And then I think as far as announced, those are the current ones, but we have some exciting things cooked up that I'm not allowed to say on the podcast right now. So
I always try and get it out of people, man.
Yeah. Well, you just never know. I could say it on here, and then the deal,
I know how it works.
Things that are close to be guaranteeing and being announced, but you just never know at the end of the day. And they want those announcements to be planned out.
Yeah,
so
that's exciting, man.
Super exciting things.
Ones.
People that I've been looking up to my whole life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you typically play support for like all these, or some of them you're just there and you're just doing consulting for everything and you're just behind the scenes advancing everything? Like what's your role for like the majority of these events? Yeah,
most of the time it's consulting and bouncing ideas off of the team. I do opening support slots.
Yeah.
I stick to one a year.
Okay.
For the Laguna stuff. I never want to be in a situation where people in the region feel like I'm getting special treatment and getting on every like big show that happens. So that's usually my rule of thumb. I just try to do one a year, and also just for the oversaturation. I do a lot of shows over there over the year.
Yeah.
So I don't want to just bang people over the head too often. And when I go down to Pensacola, I want it to be special.
Yeah.
And I want it to be exciting, and not people feel like, well, we see him all the time. Like it's
like a supply and demand thing. I mean, if you come there that once every 6 months or once every year, and then they're like, oh shit, this is awesome for this one time, versus like they hear you every single month or whatever it's going to be, they're going to get a little bit more fatigued from listening to you and then be like, oh, it's him again. So
for sure. Yeah.
That's hard. I mean, that's something we were just talking about off camera a little bit about residencies, just here and other places, and the difficulties of that exact thing where it's, you kind of get a little bit of crowd fatigue or from the staff or whatever else it can be. So stuff like that is hard. But you guys did some other cool pop-up shit. It snowed here in Nashville a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, that was an awesome time. I have most of all the credit to go to Purdue here in Nashville and Witch. They put those on. I showed up and they said, we don't have any RCA cables. Someone forgot to pack them. I live 2 blocks down, so we jumped in the truck.
Grabbed them.
Yeah, they saved the day.
So you
with
were the savior.
RCA cables. Yeah, and so that they carved out a little time for me to jump in there. But the snow day here in Nashville was awesome.
Yeah,
they brought the equipment, they brought the tent and
generator,
set up
all that shit.
Yeah, set a pop up around. It's at the Capitol building. So I'm new to Nashville, and I don't know. We may have gotten snow last year, but apparently everybody in the city likes to go to the Capitol to sled down the big hill. So they set up their operation over there, and it just turned into an awesome big party.
It looked awesome, man. I didn't see anything the day of because I was just in and out of doing shit, and I was like, I fucking wish I would have saw the day of, because I would have just came over there. I saw like you, like 1L, a couple other people, like Pardue, like posting shit. The next day, like Maddie actually was the one that saw it, because she saw it on like TikTok of like somebody posted, and then they panned the camera and it went to you, and I'm like what the fuck, like, and then I like went to your Instagram after and saw it. I'm like, damn, this looks fucking dope. And then it's just like people sledding down the hill, and then everybody's kind of at the bottom just partying around the tent in different fucking snowsuits and jackets, shit like that. It just looked like one of those things where it's just like a good vibe of just like a little pop up that fucking all the locals and everyone just coming and having a good time.
Yeah, I had definitely some angry local DJs who are at me like, why don't you tell me about this? I'm like, I can't tell everybody about everything. I can only post it on my story, and
up, man.
Like we're in here doing it. So
no, it looked awesome, man. It's a good thing to do, and stuff like that. You never know with social media and content. It's like that's something that can just pop off and go viral real quick, and then it just started off of you just going to get RCA cables and wanting to go have a good time.
Yeah, it was funny because a lot of the people who came there all had this similar ideas. A buddy, Tiff, also was talking about setting up a pop-up. I was thinking about doing my own as well. And then it's like everybody had fragmented interest in their thing. But when we saw that Purdue put a flyer out, we're like, why don't we just take our little thing
just
and everyone
together.
and that was really what helped the snowball get rolling. There is
Pun intended.
Yeah. And then, lots of people from around the dance music scene popped out as well. And so we had people jumping in for guest spots the whole day. And it was a vibe.
It was, man. It looked like it. So that's awesome. But another festival you've been playing. I mean, you've done a couple things over this past year, 2 years. Hangout Festival is one. You were on tour with a Six Pack, right?
Yep. Just some days with them.
Touring a bunch of different colleges from Georgia, Illinois, Pennsylvania. Where else did you guys all hit?
Michigan. Texas was a fun one as well.
Okay.
We went to Texas this year. They've been great. Then Andrew with Six Pack has been growing his operation exponentially, and it's getting to where he is needing help and looking and seeking to expand his just his team as well.
Yeah.
And so it's really great to see the growth he's been going through.
So tell us a little bit about that. Like, what is the are you guys just hitting college campuses and then just throwing festivals, or what is it?
So pretty much fraternity parties.
Okay.
And sponsored events like that. So Andrew pretty much helps set up. It could be a couple different things. It just depends on the fraternity's needs, their budgets, and what they're looking for.
But it's always with frat parties, or with just collaborating with the frat?
Yeah. So Six Pack coverage specifically niches into the college market space. Yeah. And so through that, that's, where they hit a lot of the times. And Andrew's growing it to try to do brand partnerships. And we've had some interest in different people coming in and out. And so, but his social, the way he grows his socials is incredible. He invests so much on the front end. What he does is bring free hundreds and hundreds of free T-shirts when he goes to these events, and he gives everything out for free. But to get the T-shirt, all you need is a follow.
Yep.
So, but he invests so heavily in these T-shirts and stuff. So he has sunken a lot into that front end to build this brand.
Yeah.
Long-term strategy to leverage the brand growth for sponsorship deals or things like that. So it's an awesome strategy. I've learned a lot about it as well. And so, I take a lot of the things he's doing and apply it to the other things I'm working with.
So you got some T-shirts coming out or what?
Yeah, I don't know about for free, but I got to get up a little nest egg before I do those. But his strategy he's been doing has been working tremendously well.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about Hangout Festival, playing that. Some of the people that you've got to play with and play support for. Who are some of your favorites?
At Hangout Fest?
Yeah.
Man, that year I played last year as well, but my debut year 2 years ago was amazing. Last year was great because the ones I can remember off the dome are Dom Dalla, Disco Lines. I'd have to reach back into the memory too because it all is a blur of a weekend. So and also I've been growing up going to Hangout Fest since 2012.
Because that's in Gulf Shores?
Yeah, that was that's my home base festival. That's the first festival experience I've ever had. I've been going every year since that year. And so just the amount of memories I've made on those beaches is just so much. And so to 10 years later, land a booking with the festival, which is having local support on Hangout Fest was a very unusual situation. Mm-hmm. They were always booked by people that were in LA based and were doing things by the numbers. That way it was very sort of always handled by, well, in the beginning it wasn't, but it got to be where it was handled by booking agents that were based in LA who had rosters and people that they were doing things from there. I'm turning this phone off, sorry. And so they acquired a booking team from New Orleans, and they were working on festivals like Buku, where they were very community heavy, very community based. They're all about doing those headlining supports, but also showing love to the local scene. Yeah. And so they brought that energy into when they took over Hangout. Yeah. And so it was great, and we showed opening the gates, filling those stages with hundreds and hundreds of kids. That it was a great idea to be considered continually. Yeah.
It was gonna say, man, talk about just like what that's like, where it's you're going there for 10 years growing up, and then that first time that you get asked to actually play it, how surreal of a moment was that for you?
Incredibly, because also that was my first internship. So I did in 2014, I interned with the owner of the festival there as well. And so again, much of what I do today is attributed to the starts at Hangout Fest, the inspiration I've got from working at Hangout Fest. And it was like I could die a happy man, because again, it was one of those things where you grow up doing it, and to finally be on the other side, getting to be an artist on the lineup, it was just a huge win, not just for me, but the team as well. And to show the community that we have the kind of forward motion to be able to pull off these types of things is like pretty cool. Yeah, pretty cool. So we hope that we're just able to serve as an inspiration for our local scene and regional scene as well. People come from all over the region and the country to come to Hangout Fest. Yeah. So to really just be an inspiration and provide avenues for coaching and success, which I try to do with Future Astronaut Records, of young aspiring producers who come up asking for advice. They need help to, they've got some songs, but they don't know how to approach pitching to labels and things. And maybe their profile isn't big enough for big labels to be interested yet, but we want to provide a space to where we can give them a first step. Yeah. So, yeah.
Just giving back, helping out. Love it. Did they have they put out their lineup for this year or no?
Morgan Wallen.
Oh shit, I forgot that's that. I saw that then.
So Morgan Wallen has taken over Hangout Fest this year.
I forgot that they put that. That was like not even a month ago that they released it. I feel like.
And I can't say that I'm terribly surprised. I mean, the business, it sold out in the day of. Yeah. Like within hours. And so to see the rise of country music to the point, but it's not only just a country music festival. I think I view the Boots, or Sand in My Boots, Morgan Wallen's Sand in My Boots, as a millennial festival as well, because they do have DJs. I think Diplo's playing. We got T-Pain on the lineup as well. Okay. And other bands. So while Morgan Wallen is the figurehead of the festival, there is something still for everybody with other things that you're interested in. It's just more leaning into the country music space.
That's gonna be awesome. Are you on anything this year for it or not yet, or are you finding anything out for it?
They brought in a new team.
Okay.
And so they've taken a lot of ownership over that one with the team that is coming in to do it. Yeah. So as things get closer, that could change, but it's they're figuring it out. Okay. But at the moment, from the things I've heard, is that it's being handled by their own people. And, also the people who have been running Hangout for all these years are definitely consulting, and when it comes to the site operations and understanding the pitfalls and the things that are the challenges with the city, which is to complement that, we still may be having what we've been doing for the last maybe 3 years, as Future Astronaut Group has been doing what's called community ambassadors. Okay. And that's really how we got our foot in the door with them in a big way. Community ambassadors being, there was sort of a hole between security that are hired to operate the gates and people who have questions that don't know where to go get their questions answered. Yeah. So what we had developed was a workforce that sits kind of by the security people at the different stations at the gates and are able to answer customer service questions. Yep. And also tend to extreme emergency situations. Security are hired there to make sure that the gate is manned and that if something happens, they can radio for somebody, but they're not there to answer questions and serve customers in that capacity. So our workforce dealt with that. Yeah, because I feel like they probably get asked all the time, oh, where do I have to go for this? And security's I've been here. I'm just here to make sure no one hurts anybody. Yeah. And so I consider it on-site customer support. Yeah. And so through that, that's how. So we may be still doing a role with that with Sand in My Boots, because it was we kind of work as the middleman between the festival and the city. Yeah. And so that still has a very important role to be. Whether who's doing the festival, it doesn't matter. That department is it proved to be a very effective and needed situation. 100%. Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about your brand. This is something we've talked about for a little bit, where you have Ryan Lee, you have Zewmob, and I mean, you're looking at two different Instagram profiles, just
basically branding for everything. Whether you're doing an event, you kind of have to think about like, all right, is this event, am I playing as Zewmob, or is this an event that I'm branding and marketing and playing as Ryan Lee?
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about like the struggles of doing that, and then the benefits, pros and cons of doing that, because I feel like there is some good things, a lot of good things to do it, where it's like you might play some of those corporate events, weddings, things like that you don't necessarily want your Zewmob brand to be represented at those kind of events, versus like some of these festivals, stuff like that. That's where you want that Zewmob brand to be in the front. You want people to know that name. Hey, this is what you're getting when you're coming to see Zewmob as an artist. Mm-hmm. So just tell me a little bit about the brand and how you differentiate the two aliases.
Yeah. So me and my buddy Clay, he goes by Bad Color now, but we started Zewmob together at the University of Alabama, and we, it started out as a DJ duo, but we produced music as well.
Yeah.
As we started getting more gigs around town, most of them were open format gigs, but we were very clear about, we want to be a dance music act, still using the name Zewmob, still needing to put flyers out that said, come see Zewmob at X bar, whatever, to come see us play. People show up to see us play what we are advertising as dance music, and we're playing hip hop the whole time. Just depending on what the crowd needed. We were dance music brand doing open format sets.
Yeah.
And I think it was confusing. So after that, we got to where we weren't going to put the flyers out, right? We were still just going to go, because we're making money doing it, making a living, paying our bills. And so, but we found out by not sharing the love with the bars, they were getting upset about us, feeling like we weren't proud to be there, right?
Yep.
So we're like, okay, I have a problem to solve here as far as intention and stuff. So, because I need to figure out what works for me as a brand, but I also need to make the people who are putting the money in my pocket happy and feel like they are appreciated, and that the people that they're hiring are excited and want to be here and want to brag about them as well. And so my solution that I came up with was making two different brands to help set intention. Mm-hmm. And so I started a new account that was Ryan Lee, that was entirely open format focused for the things that I do now on Broadway, for the things that private events, corporate events, and putting attention to that helps keep my Zewmob project, which is all house music focused, like pure. And so, you've got your one brand that is, the way I see it as, are you a brand that is showcasing your unique music, your unique sound, or another service, which is you're serving people? Mm-hmm. So one is very like you're providing a service that's customer focused, but as an individual artist, it's very artist focused. So it's a pushing or pulling kind of a thing. Open formats, they're very much like needing to figure out a crowd, needing to figure out like what directions, and it's a constant state of analysis throughout the night. Mm-hmm. And as an artist, it can be very much crowd reading, but more so they are here to hear your style, your original music, your original remixes, and what you do, rather than hearing just like what is, on the charts and things like that. And so I found that was the best way for me to help make everybody happy. Yeah. I'm able to confidently promote where I'm going to be with the open format sets with my Ryan Lee project. It's not able to like dilute from the house music project I'm doing with Zewmob, and vice versa. So when I advertise I'm going to be here or there for whichever projects, people know exactly what they're getting themselves into. Mm-hmm. And there's no kind of head scratching when they arrive and it's not what they expected. Yeah. So that's the solution I've come up with that. And it's been working for me. Some people, again, it depends on like what part of growth you are with your brand before you maybe may need to make a decision like that. But for me, it was when I started kind of finding I was upsetting some of the bars I was playing at by not promoting it, because I didn't want to promote Zewmob. You wanted to
affect your brand, yeah.
Yeah, they were getting a little upset with me, so I figured this would be a solution to make sure everybody was happy with that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people probably struggle with that, especially like younger DJs that are either trying to like get their foot in the door in places. But if you don't want to necessarily be an open format DJ, but then that's what's paying the bills, it's hard to divert from playing those shows. And ultimately, I think that it does affect your brand. Like if you're trying to be an all house music based DJ or an all dance music, whatever it's going to be. And then every single weekend, people are seeing you play Taylor Swift and Kesha and all this stuff, and they're like, well, what is this? Like, this isn't what I'm picturing when I see his brand or his Instagram, or like the other show that I saw him where it was all house and it was dope. And I feel like just a lot of DJs probably are in the same kind of boat where they have to do these other gigs for the money. But then, yeah, I feel like branding them as separate entities is probably so much more effective, because then you're not hurting your brand that you want pushed in one direction, your artist brand, whatever it's going to be. You're not hurting that at all.
And I think also, like, having one brand that is doing open format, also pursuing dance music, is a little bit hurtful for like getting booked for like a lot of the like maybe like dance acts that are coming into your city, because you never know if the promoters, they see you as an open format DJ, which that may not be your big intention, but that's the one inevitably that has been impressed upon the promoter.
Yeah.
And so, it's all about just repetitiously sending a very specific signal, a specific brand direction for a project, to make sure you're not muddying up the water with what exactly it is that you do.
Yeah, because you're saying then like somebody comes in, like James Hype's coming to Skydeck.
Yeah.
And then these promoters and stuff see you playing at Whiskey Row, where they're like, oh, well, he can't play this set because this is who he is as a DJ. They think of you as like an open format DJ, where then it's like you still have to have your Zewmob brand present, so that way you're thought of to play support for these other roles and things like that.
Sure, yeah. And I mean, in any one of these DJs on Broadway could absolutely murder those sets, but it's really about, the promoters want to, again, keep the purity of dance music, culture. And it's just, it could be, those things. So, again, having separate, specific, targeted brand identities can help in those situations, I feel like. I mean, just with anything in general. So, yeah, that's my 2 thoughts on that.
Yeah, no, it definitely makes sense. And there's a lot that you've been doing on both sides of it. So, and I mean, even for yourself, putting out a lot of your own originals, putting out a lot of remixes. I mean, you're always pitching them on Instagram, just like going through your process of making edits, making remixes, stuff on TikTok, all the different social media. I feel like you're very good at putting stuff out there and putting content to let people know when you're releasing stuff. Tell us about some of the recent projects that you've had, and then let's get into some stuff that we can look forward to in the future.
Yeah, I mean, that's something I've been hitting hard recently. Really, this is something I coach to the producers that on my label as well, but getting my face in front of the camera and being confident, and that is what is going to help gain, your following and your forward momentum of just like, I have a lot of producers I'll be like, hey, like this release is coming out on our label. Can you send me some press photos? Can you send me some videos? The videos are from the back of the club, and then the photos are them turned around to the side working on the computer. And I'll be like, turn around and face the camera. People want to see your pretty face. Like, yeah, like that's, and also just for TikTok algorithms, like your face being recognized on there will help push things forward. But also from a potential fan perspective, do they want to support somebody who's really in the corner and too afraid to, be confident, or do they want someone who's here, being confident, standing on their 2 feet, talking into the camera? And so it's something I've been learning to try to do a lot too, because I have anxiety as a millennial when it comes to talking into the camera and, acting goofy and, those things too. So you got to find a way that makes it authentic for you. And so just been trying to do more of that stuff, doing like live, like drum pad stuff with the Ableton Push, deconstructing my remixes and my songs that I'm putting out as well.
Yeah.
That's a cool strategy I've been doing, and I've getting some great attention on, with OBS recording you reacting as you're producing your song with Ableton in the bottom.
Yeah.
Strategies like that have been great. But the most success I've been having recently is posting the live clips of the shows, where I'll get out there with multicam. I'll have like 4 or 5 camera angles when I'm doing, I know that a show is going to be a lot of energy. Like this is going to be a standout show. I'll go ahead and get the whole thing recorded with a multicam. And then
you just go and edit and post.
Yeah, clipping those together and then clipping out drops of those. Mm-hmm. People have been eating them up. So
Yeah, because then they're actually seeing the live reaction of the tracks that you're working on.
yeah, and it's a cool way because like you going into it, you can know certain songs that okay, like oh, here's a friend's song that I really want to put in the set to get that out for him, because doing that and sharing other people's music in your live clips is so beneficial too, because you'll play a song out and clip it and it's a great crowd reaction. You post it on, you tag the artist, and
they share it.
Yeah, it's just like great for sharing and like artists that you want to be associated with, artists that you identify with sonically, and so it's great for the it's great to show the love that way.
Yeah. So we talked future astronauts a lot. Obviously, all the stuff that you're working with them. You had some exciting news pretty recently of you working with a new label.
Yeah. So recently, funny situation. I have been helping out with Trax Records. Right now, I'm more of an ambassador.
Okay.
I've been working with the head of Trax Records, Screamin' Rachel, and she is an icon in herself, and who has been there since the very start of the inception of house music in the late '80s. She also did a lot of time over in New York. If anybody's familiar with the Club Kids and the whole Club Kids scene with the New York rave scene, she was right in the middle of all those things too. She is the person who, when you see house music documentary, she's sitting there giving testimonial into the camera.
Yeah.
So huge part in the birth of house music, and they are still going very strong with Trax Records to this day. And I've been helping. I met her actually in Nashville.
Okay.
We are living in the same apartment complex, so talking with my neighbors, we get to talking about what do you do, and I tell them I'm a house music producer. They said, "Oh, you got to meet Screamin' Rachel." I was like, "Okay, that sounds cool." So we get together, and me and her got along very well, and so the first project she sent me was a remix or a original she was working on. Wanted it remixed.
She wanted a remix. Yeah.
And so she's like, see what you can do with it. So I worked on it. They absolutely loved it. I've worked on 3 or 4 other songs of hers past that. And so just, starting to, really grow into the family with them and see like, I help out where I'm needed to help out with. And so as I get more familiar with the people, they're kind of slowly throwing other things on with it. So it's been a great situation, and really just an honor to be on the label where everything started. Where like, Marshall Jefferson, Move Your Body, the classic house song, that's where it came from. And so to be there now, the universe put me into contact with that somehow. Again, just like choosing the place of where I'm going to have an apartment, the serendipity, the odds of it is just kind of bewildering.
Yeah.
Yeah. So pretty cool. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Just being in the right place at the right time, and then now you're just taking the projects and turning them into the best things, and now it's turned into all this. So that's awesome.
Yep. Preparation with opportunity.
Yeah.
So
whatever the saying is.
Something.
Something about that. Yeah. But I mean, you're talking about that, making edits or making the remixes and stuff for them and their label. Making those remixes for like Screamin' Rachel, making them for Trax Records, all the other ones that you're putting out just independently as yourself too. I always think, and I want to talk about this and get your opinion on it, of DJs that aren't doing that. They're not getting into the production side of things, and just how that affects them, their bookings, their growth as a DJ, and making it anywhere kind of outside of like a local circuit.
I saw an artist, I wish I could remember her name, and she was talking on social media. She was saying she was touring for a year, but she doesn't have any music out. People keep asking her, why aren't you putting out music? And she made a good point of like the two areas of expertise are so different, but so many times we want to lump them together.
Yeah.
Being a great DJ does not make you a great producer, but being a great producer does not make you a great DJ either. And they're almost could be treated like separate skill sets and professions.
Yeah.
A lot of time we combine the two. Like, oh, they're great at making music, they must have a killer show. That's not always the case either.
It's oftentimes not the case.
Yeah, because
I've seen a lot of people that get booked because of them being a really good producer, and they're not good DJs. But they get booked into that role because they've made hit records and they're so popular where they're like, all right, cool, like let's book him as a DJ set.
Yeah.
And yeah, exactly what you're kind of catering to, where they're very different realms.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's this particular artist was saying she wanted to establish herself to be renowned as a amazing DJ first before she started putting out the things. So I guess in her world is a stigma of like, oh, they're just big because they made some songs or whatever. So it was an interesting way that got me thinking about it. And yeah, I don't know if the answers the question a little bit better there, but it was a really cool way. And I didn't used to think about it like that before. I thought it was like a zero-sum thing of like, you know, if you want to be anywhere in the game, you have to be able to be a producer.
Yeah.
But we should be separating those things, because like going to see a great technical DJ is, what does it matter? Like making like the service they're doing and then the skill that they're presenting is a totally unique thing to like making a dance song. Like, so it's, I don't know, maybe we should start thinking about things more in that sense. And as far as the growth from it, you know, personally, I think every great DJ should be striving to learn production chops.
Yeah.
I think they should be starting out with edits, growing into remixes, and then growing into original productions, because the game is, you know, you need to have your own original content. You need to have your own original product to serve to a customer base. And so, you know, always striving towards that. I think earlier we were talking about a lot of the ghost production stuff.
Yeah.
Things like that. I die on the hill that I just don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I would rather, you know, I have forgiveness for somebody who wants to sit in with a great experienced producer and wants to sit there with them and learn and like maybe create the song with this co-producer in a sense. There's lots of people who do that. Maybe they start tracks and they have a co-producer. They go bounce back and forth. And I would like to think that that happens more often than not, but to just outright buy a song and, you know, maybe you give some revision. That's, to me, that's, and then you're saying I'm a music producer. Man, that's whack.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's clown activity to me.
I agree 100%. I know a lot of people that do it where I'm just like if you're taking all this time to brand content and all that stuff around these releases, like just take the time to learn.
Yeah, I mean, it's, some people are very more geared towards, I mean, some people suffer from ADD, right? And they sometimes it's like very hard for them to sit down. But if you're going to get ghost produced tracks, you need to be forward about that, because I would have more forgiveness about that. There's some people in the industry that are very openly known that, you know,
that they don't produce it. Yeah.
And that, to me though, if you're open about it, I have a whole nother, like, just be forward.
Yeah.
Be forward about it. I don't like saying you having your trophy and everybody patting you on the back for something you haven't done.
Yeah.
That's just where, to me, and they may say the excuse, well, the other people do it. Other people, that's okay. It's not, do you want to be that? Do you want to have an easy road to success? But here's the other danger with that too, is I think about DJ circles, kind of like at the cafeteria, you have different lunch tables. And you may be sitting at a table where you're a friend of like other producers who are all friends with each other because they know that they're making their stuff. And then it comes out that you are getting ghost produced. You're banned to the other table now with the other ghost produced artists where you have to make friends with. And it kind of, it separates you from the circle, because there's nothing that gets under the skin more to a producer than the fact that someone else took the easy road and now they're getting attention for it, for taking the easy road, circumventing a very long and tedious process of education. And so I just think that it could be, who do you want to surround yourself with? And everyone's got to make those decisions for themselves, but it is very isolating for the people who have taken a long path of education, music production knowledge, and have lots of lonely hours in their studios and on YouTube learning tutorials and paid money for these, you know, lessons and things. They will start to resent you, and you might slowly find yourself that nobody wants to work with you anymore. And it may not be overnight, but it's small micro decisions that happen over maybe a couple years. Yeah. And all of a sudden you find out that no one's really like fucking with me anymore. Yeah. It's because they are a little bit peeved off that like you're claiming to do the same thing that they're doing. Yeah. And they know deep down that you're not doing that at all. So it's a dangerous game to play. Like, you know, so at the end of the day, everybody's got to make that decision for themselves. A lot of the times they point at the big producers who are getting ghost produced now, but here's the difference is that they had to be a producer at one point. Yeah. And maybe they're juggling being a CEO of the label now. maybe they're on their tour schedule, literally cannot afford them time to be doing this anymore. But they did know how to produce. Now they're working. They have a team of producers who are making things in the image of what they are, and now they're doing approval processes. Because I mean, you know, when you're juggling multi labels and that's got sub labels, and you're the decision maker, the taste maker of those things, you're throwing your own label parties, you're on tour on planes 24/7. Where do you find the time to want to sit there and put kick drums in a DAW at this point? You really have grown on to bigger sort of like boss things.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, you might have a team of producers now that are getting ideas started, and you're just, giving a yes or a no on certain things. And then also your job now is to call up other labels to work to get features on those songs too. So, but at the beginning of it, you did have to learn that music.
Yeah.
So you can grow out of being able to do those things, which is a privilege, but still, I think, everybody needs to put the work in. Yeah. So that's how I feel about it.
I feel like for you, like you can see a little bit of frustration because it's like, the work that it takes to build an original track, to build a remix, stuff like that, like all the years of work that you've put into it. So then knowing that people just like throw stuff out and they could use their name or whatever, but they're not actually doing it, it's got to piss off a lot of people that are legitimate producers because they know the work that goes into these projects.
And even if it's not like a pissed off thing, like we're not outraged out here with like, pitchforks and stuff, but it's just sort of a slow...
It's a slap in
isolation.
the face.
Yeah, and it's like a slow, I think, self-isolation thing you'll find for yourself.
Yeah.
Because it will get around that, and so like, when a lot of the opportunity that comes from all of us DJs here are the word of mouth pushing that we all do for each other. When you know somebody's legit and they got skills, when the opportunity come for you to be able to refer somebody to something, and that's, for me at least, that is where the most opportunity that I've had in my career is by my peers' word of mouth.
Yeah.
That might get taken away from you if people find you to be phony. And slowly, your gigs aren't coming, the opportunities, the phone's not ringing as much as it used to anymore. And again, it won't happen overnight, but it'll happen slowly over time.
Yeah.
That my phone's not ringing for things anymore. It's because everybody kind of finds you to be corny now because they found out that you're not being real, authentic, and honest.
Yeah.
So that's my what I encourage for everybody is to be honest, authentic, and like if your stuff sucks coming up, put out shitty stuff at first. Yeah. Because people love to see progress too.
That's what I'm saying. Then you see like the growth in it too, where you're like, damn, like this is where they started, and now they're making this. That's crazy. Yeah.
And again, I think that has more dignity and respect.
Yeah.
And for some reason, you've never posted a video ever in your life of you in the studio working on anything.
And all of a sudden, you just put out a banger.
You got a Spinning Records quality track all of a sudden. Bro, get out of here. Yeah.
Love it, man. Well, let's get into some of this rapid fire, man. Right now, give me your favorite genre to play.
Mine right now, it's a combination because what I do is it's a combo, and we need a new term for it. It's not quite as low energy as tech house, but it's not quite as aggressive as bass house.
Okay.
It's something in between. There's a lot of artists who straddle those lines, and we need to figure out a new term for it.
You got to make it then. Make the name for it.
Everybody's making up new subgenre terms now, so I'll get be the new one to do it. But I'll just house music's my thing. It's what I focus on. UK garage has been great, and as an American, I'm probably like 5 years behind on this new fad. The UK people are like, y'all are always like a half a decade behind what we've been doing for a long time. So, but right now, artists like Sammy Vergie have been absolutely murdering. It's fresh. It's a little bit faster than house, what house has typically been. Yeah. You're in the 132 range. It just feels like a little bit more energetic. So I've been digging with that. When I opened up for Dr. Fresh, my whole set was between 132 and 135. Okay. I was just super inspired by this kind of new sort of momentum towards UK garage stuff. So it's been fun to dabble in sort of a slightly, it's not completely new genre, but adjacent, but just a new sort of spice of a flavor of something I've been doing before.
Are you working on any projects for any of that kind of style tracks?
Yeah. So Wednesday, I'm dropping a remix of, I don't know if I also put people on this, Jameson's Soft Spot song. Yeah. Have you heard about it yet? Yeah. Dude, I got a UK garage version I made of it. and I'm putting it out on Wednesday.
Okay.
And it'll be my first kind of like crack at UK garage style.
Yeah.
And so I'm super stoked for it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's
That dude's
awesome.
been crazy. He's been on a huge come up, and you got to check out Jameson if you haven't,
Yeah.
for anybody listening.
Yeah. Who's your favorite artist or producer right now that you are just inspired by and kind of gearing your work toward?
Dude, my number one is Chris Lake.
Okay.
I think that is a guy that not just his music, but his personality, his temperament, his maturity, the way he approaches things in a calm manner. I think that guy is just a one of a kind person. He's also been helping co-produce, ghost produce, and a tastemaker. I just, when it comes to a personality as well, like I'm not the most like, like kind of guy. And so to see somebody like Chris Lake, where he's just like, hey, I'm here to have a great time. We don't have to freak out and be as successful, to see that can also become successful. So it's not just about overreacting to like things to get attention. Like, how you see a lot of DJs who are just way over the top because they think that's how I'm going to get the eyeballs.
And you can kind of tell that it's not authentic at all.
Theatrical.
Yeah.
There's no theatrics with Chris Lake, man. I think he's just a G, and he's been a huge inspiration. I think he has changed the sound of house music as well, like in that way. And just to have somebody be so like laser focused. He's also a sober guy too. So it's like, he just stays in the studio. He's changing the sound of house music to go in the direction that he wants to go in. And everybody else is sort of following that.
I literally just saw a clip yesterday of a track that he was working on, and it's just him in a hotel room, like before a set, just grinding on it, calling up other people, making them listen to it, and they're like, damn, that shit's dope.
Yeah.
And it's
He
like,
just oozes talent. He just, he's kind of like a version of Skrillex too, where like he's the decider of where things go, and so he's not really, he may take influences and stuff, but he's not chasing things. He's just doing what Chris Lake wants to do.
Yeah.
And everybody else is like, that's what we're doing now.
so branching off of that, if you could do an official remix for anyone, is that who it would be?
Yep. That'd be it.
All right.
Yep.
That's your the dream collab.
I've got a couple others, like, dude, Habstrack would be great. Dr. Fresh would be great. Like,
Yeah.
I've got some heavier,
Do a little bit harder stuff.
taste
Yeah.
too. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm always kind of teeter-totter in between aggressive bass house, but also like a cool tech house vibe,
Okay.
and try to blend in them, find somewhere, a sweet spot right in the middle.
What is your most memorable set that you've had to date?
Got to be Dr. Fresh this November.
Yeah.
We had a nearly sold out. I mean, I hadn't checked the numbers, but I think we were close to like selling out the venue. The energy was just we don't have a roof. It was through the sky. Saying, dude, like Tony is so cool. Dr. Fresh, man, you just like some people that you get around, and it makes you feel like an NPC.
Yeah.
That's Tony, man. Like, there's just wires in his brain that are like all the ones for just adrenaline are all plugged into that slot. And so he just comes up. He also, what's great is he treats you like y'all been friends forever. And you start to like, have I met him before? He's acting like, because he always like interacts with you like y'all have known each other. And it was really cool to pick up on that, because it's great for establish a relationship and a connection with even strangers that you're going into. And it's just kind of, you become a magnet for opportunity, for relationships, and just for anything. And so it was really cool to be exposed to a human with that kind of aura, because you can pick up on things like that. Like, it teaches you, I need to be more friendly with people, even if I find them frustrating, like, or, something like somebody at the club does something that is annoying.
Over here dreaming.
Yeah. And just a great, example to to pivot into.
Yeah.
Just the way that he approaches people and interacts with people, and then the energy that he brings to his sets.
Yeah, I've always seen just clips of him on social media or like live sets of him, and he has energy through the roof every single fucking time.
And it's very raw as well. Like, it's not a perfected set. He's like, I mean, when he got on there and he's moving around so much, his hat is flying all over the place. His hand hit the pause button, and it just that made it really authentic.
Yeah.
Though, like, it's not a polished, perfect thing. It's rough. It's, I might hit the play button and stop the music, and we're all going to laugh about it, and we're going to keep going. My hat, come on. He took his shirt off at one point. It's like 25 degrees.
Yeah, I was like, wasn't it fucking freezing?
And I have a clip. This man is shirtless all of a sudden. Like, it's just a party at the circus. It was just fun, and so that's why he's one of the big dogs. That's why he is who he is. So it was cool. And, you know, I try to take a little bit from that when I'm around individuals who
That's awesome.
are oozing an aura like that.
Well, I'm hoping that 2025 is a huge year for you. I mean, we touched a little bit on some projects that you have coming. What's next? I mean, what can we expect from Ryan Lee, from Zewmob? What projects do we have coming out? New tracks, collaborations with people. What do we need to know, put out for these listeners and these viewers to come check you out?
Yeah, I'm doing so many collaborations with Nashville-based artists this year. One coming up more recently is a vocalist and rapper, Big Trip.
Okay.
Check him out. He's on the rise. He used to write for G-Eazy as well. And so he is an amazing artist and outstanding person as well. He's been so polite, but he just got so much swagger. Also, an artist, Cinder Stella. She is one of going to be rising to one of Nashville's like biggest like diva success stories as far as like pop star icon who is just still extremely underappreciated and underrated right now.
Yeah.
She's about to come out with her album next month. So be on the lookout for that. Cinder Stella.
Okay.
And so we've got 2 tracks that we've been working on as well. Nashville based, but she'll end up going to do really huge things.
Yeah.
And some other people, like I've been working with some country artists. So Michael Warren.
Yeah.
Me and Michael grew up doing DJing in Alabama together.
Okay.
So now we've both found ourselves in Nashville pursuing music in different areas. So we're trying to connect to do some type of collaborations with some songs that is a little bit shares both of our styles, but doesn't take too much away from either one of us too.
Yeah.
So it's a cool thing to try to work on as well. So that's the name of the game this year, is doing collaborations and trying to stick to a very consistent release schedule. Mm-hmm. And so just keep putting out bangers, man.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
So-
I love it. Well, I'll make sure I plug in everything for you, SoundCloud, all that kind of stuff, where
Shit,
people
man.
can go and find your music, Spotify, Apple Music, all that kind of stuff. And then, being able to plug in some of these other artists. So one last thing I need from you, man, before we get out of here. Actually, we're going to do this top 3 songs first. So
Oh, man, I got to get my phone out real quick.
Yeah, grab it. So I want to start building these little platform playlists. So right now, give me some of your favorite songs, like your top 3 favorite songs that I need to put on this playlist so other people can go check out these artists, listen to these tracks.
I got to shout out some friends, man. Let's see. Can we clip out if it takes a while to get to it?
Yeah, no, that's why I'm like, just take your time.
My buddy Absinthe is in Chicago. We were from Tuscaloosa, but he's been working with Propa.
Yeah.
And he just did
He's
his
a homie.
Propa?
Yeah.
Dude, so he just did Absinthe. You know Absinthe?
Yeah.
You seen that release that just came out with Propa and Absinthe?
I think I did, yeah.
It was still in this.
I'm trying to bring him here.
Still who? Propa?
Yeah.
Got to.
Yeah.
So still in this bitch.
Yeah,
was
yeah.
the-
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
Absinthe is my homie that I grew up with and put him on in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah.
So he just moved to Chicago and made friends with Propa. And
Propa
so-
does a bunch of stuff with my buddy Strategy. Like they
Oh,
did,
cool.
they just did a little pop up like live stream thing.
Yeah,
on
so
YouTube.
Absinthe was at that too.
Yeah,
Yeah, the thing they did at his house.
they did one at like a pizza shop too.
Oh, I didn't see that
in
one.
Chicago.
That's sick.
I'll
That's
send it to you. Yeah.
So
But anyway, yeah. Give me these top 3 songs.
okay. Damager by Sammy Vergie is a fun one. On and On by Saint Punk has always been a favorite of mine. I love that one. And then NPH's 160
Okay.
is a heater as well. And so that's like one of Nightbase's most recent breakout songs.
Okay.
NPH has also got the UK garage vibe, man. And so yeah, those are 3. I love them.
Dope. We'll get those added on there then so people can check out. I think it's so funny because like with the different guests, it's always very, very like different genres of music. I mean, obviously like a lot of the DJs, some of them are a little bit similar, but then I'll have people who are just like country artists, stuff like that, where they sit down and it's completely different. So I want to be able to start building this playlist so people can just go through and just find new music, new artists, and listen to some different shit that they don't usually listen to. So
Yeah.
be good.
For anybody in Nashville wanting to hear some different shit, check out the playlist Mob Music. It's my artist sponsored playlist on Spotify.
Yep.
And it's everything that I listen to. And if you ever want an idea of what I'm about to play in a set coming up, I throw everything into that first.
Yeah.
And then when I'm building my set, I'll look at what is the most recent stuff I put in this playlist for myself.
That you got to
And a lot of my set is comprised of things that I throw in that playlist.
Yeah.
So
Dope.
keep up to date with all the things that I'm digesting and
Yeah.
listening to. And yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, last thing I need you to do before we get out of here, man, is just put somebody on a platform. So every episode I have a guest, pick a person. It can be another DJ, a producer. It can be a venue, your favorite place that you like to go eat, shop, anything that you want to just shine a little bit of spotlight on. Get these listeners and these viewers to go check out, see what they're all about.
Yeah, man. Most recently, it's always changing, and I'm always wanting to, plug anybody I can. So it's hard to pick any one person.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, for what I do in house music, right now, a close friend of mine, Sam, he goes by Absinthe in Chicago recently.
Mm-hmm.
He's been coming out with absolute heaters. His production is pristine. He's making all the right connections with people right now. And so you're going to be seeing a lot more from him coming up.
Yeah.
So keep your eyes out for Absinthe, based out of Chicago.
Okay.
Like I said, he's been working with Propa. He's been working with some hip politics stuff. He's got a great heart. He'll continue to do amazing things.
Yeah.
And so it'll be cool, I think, one day for us to look back and say, oh, I shouted him out that thing, and he's doing awesome.
Yeah.
So much bigger than what he is now. So
Yeah, my buddy Sherm does the A&R for Hood Politics. He's fucking awesome. So
he's been talking with him a little bit as well.
So if he's doing stuff for them, it's got to be some good projects because they put a lot of dope shit out. So
sick, man.
Well, thank you, man. I thank you for taking the time to come over here, sit down, and tell your story, man. We got a lot of good stuff out of it, and hopefully some of these listeners and these viewers can go find some of your music, come out here, support some of your shows if they're ever out here. So
yeah.
Anything else you want to throw out here before we get out of here?
Yeah. Everybody check out Future Astronaut Records on SoundCloud. We've started a Spotify artist page for that as well, but we're on Instagram as Future Astronaut Records.
Yep.
We're always every month we're putting out releases, remixes from our team. It's a lot of the upcoming producers in the Southeast. It's very multi-genre, so you're going to hear some dubstep stuff sometimes. You're going to hear some house stuff, techno, whatever, but it's really about people who are close to the family that we're always in communication with.
Yeah.
And so rather than being a genre-based label, it's like a family-based label.
Okay.
So we're always looking to grow that, and we've been getting some great growth with our songs and things we've been releasing. So Future Astronaut Records. Give us a follow on all of our socials.
Dope. I'll make sure to plug everything in so that way they can just go and click on the link, go right to you guys. But yeah, if you guys are listening to new music, go check out all his stuff. I'll have all his profiles plugged in the description, whether you're watching on YouTube or listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, so you guys can go listen to him. The DJ mixes for the platform mix come out every single Monday, so hour-long DJ mixes from all different DJs all over the world. So make sure you guys go listen to those if you need a little mix for the gym, the car, whatever else it's going to be. These come out every Wednesday. So thank you again for hopping on here. And until next time, we'll see you guys later. Thank you.
Peace.
Check. Mic check. 1, 2.
Yo, is this thing on or what?